Hi guys, today I'm coming to you with a trio of TV show wrap-ups, really kind of reviewing some of the fan favourites that have been really popular over the last couple of months. I'm going to be talking about Ratched, I'm going to be talking about Wandervision, and I'm going to be talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So, Ratched season 1. Much like getting around to this video, it took me ages to finally get around to watching this TV show. I'm so excited because a lot of the actors were from American Horror Story and I absolutely love that TV show. I was also excited, having watched a couple of episodes, seeing F from The Strain, which is a TV show me and my partner recently finished watching. And yeah, I also recognise a lot of other actors, so straight away I thought, okay, this is gonna be a successful one. It just took me ages to kind of finally get into it. I think I thought that it was going to be very addictive, and sometimes I have to psych myself up for that. So just before I continue on with the review, I did give it a 3 out of 5 stars. Anyway, I do think in terms of plot it's kind of canon to the American Horror Story universe, particularly from the Asylum season, if I am right in that knowledge. But anyway, it is inspired by a book, one that I've not read actually, and that book is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Basically in 19...
Oh yeah!
I'm filming a video, babe. Stop.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
I'm gonna keep all that in. All that in. Butt's hanging out. Pull up the door. Pull up the door. Oh yeah! Anyway, so as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, it's 1947 and Mildred Ratched gets herself a position working as a nurse at a leading psychiatric hospital. She's dealing with a lot of people with a lot of darkness in their mind, a lot of struggle. She herself is dealing with a growing darkness. First off, the design of this was absolutely stunning. Like, it took my breath away, the level of detail in the design parts of it, like the textures of everything, the colours. It was beautiful to look at. The colours were often like very bold and clashing, and that is just right up my street. Prints were also quite like contrasted, very of the time, and I also really enjoyed the very slight and subtle colour changing of the lights, which really kind of set the mood and tone of like different scenes that were taking place. Really reflected the characters' moods perfectly. The actors were absolutely astounding. I really also appreciated that the majority of the main cast were all played by older actors, which is something I really enjoyed seeing, because very often I feel like the media seems to think that the younger is better, but it just worked well, you know. It delivered so much of a punch, and yeah, in that regard it was all around awesome. In terms of the actual plot, it was a little bit of a mindfuck. I found myself very often confused, particularly about the character of Ratched. I feel like she was most definitely suffering from some kind of mental illness that seemed to develop from the horrific traumas from her childhood, especially when, you know, you see the way she reacted in some situations. You can see some displays that weren't, you know, typical, I guess. Yeah, the way she responded and reacted and kind of was like manipulative to certain situations all kind of gathered together to make me think there was something going on in her mind that needed looking into, that needed kind of like examining and putting together something that could help her have more of a like joyful life, you know what I mean? On the conversation of mental health, it was really interesting to see why people were brought into this psychiatric hospital and how they were supposedly treated during that time period. For example, at the time, being lesbian apparently was something to be cured, and quite a lot of the processes that they used to cure the lesbianism was rather barbaric, and a lot of the other practices that they used across the board for different kind of ailments and issues and worries were just horrific, really. It's a weird one though, because although I definitely enjoyed this show, I can't say I was fully captivated by it. I think really I kind of stuck with it more because of the awesome acting, and I love a period drama. But I feel like most of the plots that interwound with each other were just kind of so-so, and I felt like there was way too much going on, but not all of the sort of subplots were executed to the same degree. But yeah, I did enjoy it. If there is another season, I will definitely be checking it out. On to the next show. So Wandervision, oh my god, season 1, 5 stars. This was only like a 10 episode mini-series, and it really gave me like Life on Mars and the Truman Show vibe. This was on the surface a really quirky and fun series, but even up until like around episode 3 I wasn't really sure what it would do in terms of like deeper for the specific storyline and for the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole. I did think at first that perhaps it was just its own little thing, but then the sinister tones really started picking up, theories started spiraling in my mind, and my interest was even more piqued. You can tell that it's canon, and it definitely has like the big bosses of the MCU kind of building it and pushing it and putting all the extra content that you could desire into this show, as it definitely felt like miniature movies in terms of like the quality, the attention to details, you know, the actors that they got for it. It was honestly just a fantastic viewing experience, especially how it's going to sort of bleed into the multiverse of like the wider world. When you do crack into what this show really is about though, it's terribly sad. It really just explores the grief, particularly the grief of Wanda, and the limits the mind can go to, particularly like with the subconsciousness warring with the instinct to make things better and to make things perfect. And in this case, where we're dealing with superhumans, you know, the consequences of that, when that's a possibility that can well and truly be made because of their powers. So, you know, we do have these very real, very hard to talk about topics such as grief, but it's kind of escalated to that whole new level because of the power that these characters hold. It was honestly quite heartbreaking, I'm not gonna lie. Overall, this was absolutely amazing. I can't fully articulate my thoughts and feelings properly in regards to just, you know, the experience I had during this show. It was just absolutely fantastic, so that was 5 stars. And lastly, the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I gave this one also 5 stars. Both obviously Wandervision and this one are on Disney+. Ratched was on Netflix. So honestly, at this point, I felt like we have been spoiled rotten with these fantastic TV shows that feed into the MCU. Seeing Sam and Bucky form a team and sort of slowly an understanding and friendship, whilst simultaneously dealing with yet again more tricky subjects such as grief, expectation, family, to name but a few. It was just so amazing to see. I also really appreciated again the deeper conversations that we had, especially in regards to race and what it means to be a black man in the public eye, as well as the pressures of conforming to society and the ideals that Sam sees as wrong, but are a lot of the ideals and kind of expectations that come with filling the boots of a much loved superhero. Gosh, this just really packed so much in. So the level of microaggression in the tone of the voice of this character in the last episode, when Falcon absolutely bossed it in, saving the day as usual. One of these random civilians were like, "Who are you?" Bro, you know full well who this motherfucker is. But apparently it looked like a setup for an Easter egg kind of joke about being on the moon. That bit honestly would have just gone way over my head had my partner not explained to me. I would have assumed that the random civilian got confused with like Captain Marvel or something. I really didn't understand what that joke was about. But overall, this actually had me in tears. Like, it spoke to me. Like with Wandervision, again, the grief, everything like that spoke to me. With this one, the conversations on race and expectation and having to try to do better because you're black and you're born in a society where you have to try and be on the top, so you know you're not stereotyped as something different. Yeah, it was just absolutely amazing. So those are my trio reviews for some fan favourite TV shows that have been very popular of late. Let me know if you've watched any of these and what you think. I'm very excited. I know by the time this goes up, the Loki TV series would have started. I think that started June 9th, so I'm very excited for that one. So probably stay tuned for a review on that later on, whether it's in like a general TV wrap up or a full dedicated one for that too. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll speak to you in another video soon. Bye.